The month of March is International Women's Month, and the 8th to the 14th of March is World Glaucoma Week. World Glaucoma Week is a joint initiative between the World Glaucoma Association and the World Glaucoma Patient Association and has had a highly successful run for the past 10 years. Well, joining me to discuss the World Glaucoma Week is a woman who has transited into disability due to glaucoma, and she is Dolapo Agbede, a human productivity and inclusion consultant. She will be putting an interesting spin on the Each for Equal hashtag, as well as educate on early detection of glaucoma. Thank you so much for joining me today on Arise Africa.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, so when it comes to gender equality, because like I said, it's the month of women.
Yes.
When it comes to gender equality, how much recognition, inclusion do we give to women with disabilities and visible differences? How well are we faring in that aspect?
You know, the actual reality is the fact that, you know, disability and disability inclusion, especially in the workplace, is it's almost a new topic. You know, we're in a society that is largely uncomfortable with disability or the stigma associated with it, the unknown causes. And so we now have an opportunity, especially since last year, when the president signed the Disability Act into law, to have brand new conversations around these topics. You want to imagine that across the entire spectrum of what disability is, the nuances of what could be happening, especially for a woman, is a bit different. If we take a situation like abuse, sexual abuse, for example, a deaf female cannot raise alarm when anything is happening.
Indeed.
A blind female cannot identify the person who assaulted her. So the nuances are there, but it's fantastic that the conversations are much better and the solutions are coming more to light. The accountability partners are putting up their hands. It's a fascinating conversation, and I'm very sure, I mean, it's been 1 decade for World Glaucoma Week. It's the decade of action for sustainable development goals. We're very excited about a lot that's going to happen. And then in Nigeria, for sure, I mean, before the end of the year, the needle would have moved.
Hopefully so. I share that optimism. But, you know, like you've rightly said, the physically challenged are the most underrepresented minority in our society. And globally, sometimes if you look at it. But as someone who has, you know, gone through this journey of glaucoma for 13 years, you were telling me, how has this affected you professionally in the workplace?
Okay, so, you know, the first thing is, growing up, I really did not hear much about disability, honestly. And then to now be told that I had this critical illness that was irreversible was devastating. I can never forget the day I was told. It was the 10th of August 2007, and I felt like life as I knew it was totally over. But what I've also realized over the time was my stabilizing support system. This is my personal story. So like my manager at work told me that as long as you were willing to still do your job, we were willing to accommodate you. That helped a lot. My family rallied around me, and they were like, whatever you need, just say so. Let's see what we can do to support you. So support cannot be underestimated. Then there's the part about you yourself. How far do you want to go? You have the choice to give up, or you could like take your own self up and decide you'll still be the best you can be, which is why every opportunity to have conversations around glaucoma specifically is very important to participate in, because it has no symptoms. And if you don't know, you don't know. And which is why, you know, it's an opportunity to ask people that every time you go for your personal checks or you go to the air care space, please, even if all that is done for you is to read the alphabet, now you know better to also ask that your eye pressures should be taken, because blindness due to glaucoma is really, can be mitigated with early detection. Indeed,
early detection is the word here. It was the first to go with, but you know, you said you didn't know about glaucoma growing up, and I can imagine the level of awareness that we had then. But even now, would you say that we have enough awareness about glaucoma? Are we doing enough?
There's always room to do a lot more, and which is why, you know, social media has made it so much easier to get the word out. Again, daily interactions with people like me, who have transited into disability, brings to consciousness a lot more than if you had just read about this on a blog or something. So from anyone, because of course, like looking at me, my disability is not visible.
Exactly.
Yes. So, but you can imagine that for every time someone has to ask for support, even if that disability is not visible, at least now people are a bit more conscious that you give a little space to just check and then support based on the person's request.
Let's bring this back to the whole gender equality. How do we truly create that equality when we leave the spectrum out? Because we have left them out for a long time.
So true. I think, again, I love the theme each for equal, because, you know, the best people to champion this cause are women themselves. I mean, women already, on the broad scale, already know what it is not to be given a fair chance. So I believe they will be more empathetic with their persons with disability female. So again, this is a call out to the persons with disability themselves that we all carry something. There's something you can do. So why don't you up your skills, up your game, up your competencies, and we look forward to fellow women holding hands to let's make it the same sane space for all of us to be productive, to earn and to showcase our talents.
There's absolutely nothing else. Dolapo Agbede, thank you so much.
Thank you
for sharing your experience with us. Human Productivity and Inclusion Consultant. Much appreciated. Thank you.